that's great, Johnny. I'm pleased to be on your program.
Well, it's sure an honor to speak to such a legend as yourself, yes.
Oh, thank you very much. I had a good career with Jerry Lee.
Yes, you sure did, yes. 55 years, I understand.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amazing, yes. So let's go back to a little bit before Jerry Lee, but you were born in 36, I understand.
That's right.
What was your earliest musical memories?
Growing up, as we were a poor family back in Alabama, we farmed, and I started wanting to play at an early age. But I liked to listen to the Grand Ole Opry back at that time,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And the people like Hank Williams Sr. and people like that, Hank Snow and all those people like that were on the opera back then, and I was just a kid,
For sure. Mm-hmm.
And so I just loved music. I knew I loved music, and I wanted to play music,
And you were also a multi-instrumentalist, I understand.
Yeah, I play fiddle and guitar, mandolin and banjo.
I see.
So I love those instruments,
For sure. Now, I also understand from doing some research into your history that you also got to meet Hank Williams. Would you tell us about that?
Yes, I sure will. That was back. I was about 12 years old, and I was playing fiddle. I was playing with a band down in Florence, Alabama, called Eddie McDougal and the Southern Playboys.
Oh yes.
Yeah, and then so I was playing fiddle with him, and we had a radio show every Saturday morning, like an hour radio show, and I played on that radio show with him,
I see.
But anyway, we were working in Sheffield, Alabama, at the community center there back at that time, and I was about 12 years old, and we booked there. They had booked Hank Williams in there, and of course they had hired Eddie McDougal to front the show, to come on before Hank Williams did, Opener, yeah.
Yeah.
So we did, and that was over in Sheffield, Alabama. It was just right across the river from close to where I lived, about 15 miles from where I live, actually.
Okay, sure.
But anyway, we were on doing the show there, and then fronting the show opener, and then Hank was running a little bit late, and I guess they had said had to travel. They was in a bus, and so anyway, they were running a bit late. But we did our show, and then they still hadn't got there, and so we did a few more numbers, and directly here they rolled up. In the big bus.
For sure,
and,
yes.
And his old band and all the band, everybody was with him, and so they got out, and we were going off the stage ourselves and getting ready to set up for him to come on, And so anyway, during that time, I got to meet him, and I went down to the dressing room and talked to him. He said, "Yes, sir." I said, "It's nice to meet you, Mr. Lovelace." He said, I heard you playing that fiddle up there." I said, "You just keep it up. You're doing good."
Yes, exactly.
I met the whole band, and Jerry Rivers was one of the players that I liked, very liked. I liked his style of fiddle.
Yes.
And and I played his music a lot and listened to his fiddle playing,
I see. And I understand that you also learned how to play fiddle because of Jerry Rivers. He was very instrumental in his
style,
Exactly, yes.
And so I became a friend, with him. That's the only time I got to meet him. But I listened to him years after, with the Hank's recordings and all that,
Exactly, for sure.
But it was an honor to get to meet all of the guys with him and his band, too.
So, do you remember what he was like to meet, or?
He was very, very nice. He was very quiet,
yes,
guy, but he was just so humble, and really talking to me, talking real, just really light, really nice, soft tone.
I see.
And he just said, he said, "Well, I just want to tell you that after listening, we'd done a couple of numbers for. He heard us do a couple of numbers.
Of course, yeah.
Before he went on. Mm-hmm. But he said, I heard you playing the fiddle up there, and I liked what I heard. He said, you just keep it up.
Exactly.
I said, I'm going to, sir.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Going into your career with Jerry Lee, do you remember your first meeting with him?
Yes, I sure do. I was with our group that we had formed a few years ago called the Go-Go Boys to start off with, and then we changed the name to the Five Jets. And we were playing shows down in the South, in South Florida, and Mississippi, and Alabama, and we was doing shows, like supper clubs and stuff like that, and we'd been together about 11 years.
Oh wow!
When I went with Jerry, So anyway, we worked Shreveport, Louisiana for about 4 years. We worked in there, went in there to do one show, and the guy liked us so well, he kept us to come back for a week, and then he called us back and went for 2 weeks. And then after 2 weeks, he said he wondered if we'd like to just stay there permanent for a while.
Oh wow! Yes.
We was drawing the people in, and they liked our music and our show, and so he wanted to bring the people into the club. See, just giving them good business,
Exactly. You were drawing a crowd, so.
So anyway, yeah, we stayed there for almost 4 years.
I see.
And then I went on to, after we left, we went about 100 miles away, Bossier City, Louisiana. We went to Monroe, Louisiana, and played the Rendezvous Supper Club. And we were there. That's when Jerry Lee's a young sister.
Okay. Yes.
Linda Gale. She was. Of course, Jerry was on the road with his group then doing stuff, but she was real young, and she wanted us to work on the weekend. So she talked to the club owner at the Rendezvous where we were playing, and said she wanted to know if she could work on weekends, And so he did. He hired her, and so we backed her up. She'd come up and do about 3, 4, 5 numbers on the front of our show,
Yes.
And we would play behind her, see, and so she liked our group so well, that she in turn told her brother Jerry Lee about the group she was working with, and so he came into the same town one night to Eastside, called the Eastside Club, and he had a later show that night, so Linda got him to told him about this group she's working with, so he said, I want you to hear them. So Jerry and his road manager, Cecil Harrelson, and his security guy, Dick West, they all three came out to that club we were working that night. And he was there. There was sitting Jerry Lee and Cecil and Dick sitting on the front row down there. And I said, "That's something, boy. I've got Jerry Lee."
Exactly. Yes.
And so he wanted to hear. Linda came on and did her numbers and everything. She did a really good show and knew how we was backing her up really well. And then when she went off, we started doing our show. So we did a lot of backup vocals and did the old numbers numbers that were popular at that time, the Platters. We do some of their numbers and stuff, and of course in Jerry Lee's at that time, a whole lot of shaking had just come out,
So it would have been the birth of rock and roll around that era.
Yeah, it was really hot at that time, And so anyway, we went on, we was playing, we'd do our numbers, and me and my first cousin, we played a banjo number together, and had a black light on it, and when at one point we'd cut the lights out, and that black light would hit our banjos. It was just me and him in a white gloves and a hat. We had a hat on, stuff. It would stand out, and he loved that. He loved that, and then he said, "Golly," and he said, then I came up and I played the fiddle, did a real fast fiddle number. He loved the way I played the fiddle, and he said, "God, what's he going to play next?"
Exactly, yes. Mm-hmm.
So he liked what I was doing, and so I played guitar, fiddle, and banjo that night. And he was just a nice guy to meet at first, Jerry was.
Okay.
And so when all the band, we introduced ourselves to him, and he was glad to meet us, told us what a great show. He enjoyed our show, and he said he wanted to hire the whole band.
Oh, wow. Yes, I see. Yes.
He wanted to hire the whole band, but, at that time, we were been on the road, and we all had wives and children and stuff, but at that time, I was kind of
the loner,
loose, alone.
Yes.
I was kind of the only one who was actually free at that time.
Okay. Yes.
And so anyway, the other guys, he offered, to hire the whole band. Now we talked it over, and I talked to the guys, and they said, well, we just don't think we can travel as much as you wanted to travel,
I see. Yeah.
They had wives and kids coming on,
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, they told me, he said, but that's all right. You said, you go ahead, Kenny. When they said, but Jerry said, if they can't go, Kenny, I'd love to have you. So that's the way it worked out.
And 55 years later, you were still there.
They're still there.
Yes, exactly.
I went with him in 1967, May of 1967.
1967, wow. And so, looking back at the career that you've had with Jerry Lee, what are some of the wilder stories, if you wouldn't mind telling us some of them? You always hear about different things about Jerry Lee.
Oh, well, Jerry was just a hyper guy back then,
I see. Yeah.
Of course, he'd been into London before, before we, in England and stuff, before
exactly.
I worked with him. He went through the thing, with his marriage and all that
yes.
stuff,
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, he was just really loved music so much, we would we'd work some shows in Europe,
Yes.
After the show, we'd all go back to the hotel. Some of us we'd go down to the lounge and visit with the fans and stuff, and Jerry would for a while, too. And sometimes we just sit. If there's a piano in the lounge, he'd sit there, and then he'd want me to get the fiddle and come down and join him. We play,
nice.
play down there some of it. But when he went, sometimes he wouldn't. And he'd go to his room. He had a little piano in his room.
Oh,
and I'd go there. He always with the contract. He always wanted a little piano in his room.
Oh, is that right? Yes.
Yeah. So and then and then I'd go and I'd stay in the lounge for a while. And I'd with the boys and the fans, and I'd go to my room and finish sometimes about 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. My phone would ring, and it was Jerry.
It would be Jerry.
Jerry. He said, "Hey, Kenny," he said, "I didn't wake you up, did I?"
Exactly.
I'd always say no, but sometimes I was,
Yes, of course. Yes.
And he said, "When you ain't coming getting your fiddle, come on up to the room. Let's play a little together."
Exactly, just a little.
So, we spent a lot of time, and a lot of times we did that. So many times we did. He'd call me, and just me and him sit there, and he want to play for a couple hours, just playing old songs that we knew.
Amazing.
And that's where I wanted. He wanted my fiddle. What I was doing on the fiddle to him. He loved what I was doing,
Yes,
exactly. I loved doing it for him, I was thankful he loved it,
So
and we do that. But anyway, he was he loved any place we'd go, and like in the States, we'd do shows, and sometimes we'd come in off of a tour, and he'd come into Memphis, and he'd want to go out to a nightclub, he could, and if they had a piano there play, he'd get up and start. He want to play some more just at that club after we come in off of a show, come flying in from somewhere.
Oh, wow, yes.
But he was just a hyper like that. He just loved to play.
He loved his music.
He loved his music. Yeah.
Yes, I see. So, tell us a little bit about recording with Jerry Lee. Did you ever do I imagine in those 55 years you did the Killer Country album?
Yeah.
Yes. Do you have any memories of that?
Oh, yeah. We did Another Place, Another Time. You remember when you did that?
Yes, of course. One of my favorites.
That's the first recordings I played with him.
Is that right?
He wanted the fiddle. That's first time he'd ever had a fiddle on his sessions. So he wanted me to play fiddle on it, and I played fiddle on that. And then after that, I played fiddle on all Another Place, Another Time.
Middle-Aged Crazy.
Middle-Aged Crazy. What's made Milwaukee famous, and She Comes Around to Love What's Left of Me.
Yes.
And I played on all of his country stuff.
1 Minute Past Eternity and all that. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and The Lonesome Fiddle Man. Did you hear that one?
Yes, I did. Yes, it's a great one too. Yes, a lot of memories. Exactly.
A lot of memories.
Yes, for you and me. Musically for me, but you were actually there during that time. So yes. Exactly.
But his sessions were always so, just like kind of they were open. So many people wanted to come into his sessions, but they'd have to just limit what they could get in because there's too much noise going on.
Exactly. Yes, for sure.
But producers, they let a few come in, and view him, watch him while he was doing his stuff, But then sometimes they'd have to just kind of say, well, we're gonna have to cut it down a little bit.
Yes, because
like making an open concert there.
Exactly, overcrowded or what have you. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So what made him go into the country music more from his rock and roll years, if you know?
I think he was doing a Smash at the time. He was with Smash Records, and they were the promotion or something just wasn't going, and he just Eddie Kilroy was producer, and he wanted to do that. He's the one that suggested do that song "Another Place, Another Time," and him and Jerry Kennedy, producers with Jerry, with all the other, the other stuff,
Yes, of course, yes.
But anyway, they all got together, and I think Jerry Kennedy and Eddie Kilroy, they got together and said that I think he said we need to cut Jerry country,
Amazing.
And Jerry, of course, he said I've always been country. So I grew up listening to Hank Williams and all the old ones.
Yeah, I see. So, looking at the career like you and Jerry have had over the years, is that still possible in today's world? I find music so different in today's era.
I don't think you'll find anybody that stays together that long.
Exactly. They seem to be here today, gone tomorrow, sort of thing.
Yeah. I mean, they get groups. So many groups come up, and just they stay together for a little while, and they maybe cut a record or something, and then next thing you know, you don't hear about them. They're gone, and another one comes up. It's not like the long life.
No, exactly.
Staying
That's
together
right.
like it used to be. It was really something.
Like even Jerry Lee, near the end of his career or his life, even he'd been 6-7 decades in the music, for instance.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And it just, as I say, the music today is here today, gone tomorrow, sort of thing.
Right. And these songs, I think, will stay here forever, Johnny.
That's right. Exactly. They're standards for sure. Yeah.
They're standards. He had Jerry was such a good singer. I mean, his way he phrased his songs, his lyrics and stuff,
Yes. Yeah.
He just had a way of just doing it,
And he had the feeling, exactly.
And the feeling was there, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So, in songs that you've recorded with Jerry, what sticks out to you as favorites?
I'd say, She Even Woke Me Up to Say Goodbye.
Oh, yes.
Was a classic.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, Another Place, Another Time. Mm-hmm. And then it's just so many that he
recorded.
That he recorded. It's so hard to say which one was really. She Even Woke Me Up to Say Goodbye, and was really good. I mean, I liked every one of them. He had a hook on every one of them.
Exactly. Yes, he did. And so I've often wondered about a myth that's going around for years about him setting the pianos on fire. How did that ever start, or did he?
Yeah, that's what I heard. I think he was playing a show in Los Angeles somewhere or something with Chuck Berry or something.
Yes.
And so, or maybe it was in the one I'm thinking about is the one that first one, Atlantic City, where he had a boardwalk there, and he had something about went on fire. Him and Chuck one time was figuring out who was going to close the show,
Yes.
And then they had the producer there or something. And he said, he asked the producer which one he wanted just to close the show. So they finally worked it out. Jerry said, "Well, Chuck, if you don't close the show, so I'm going to go on right before you then." So he did.
Exactly.
Jerry did. Said when he got through, he said he got on the piano too, and I think he poured something in and said, "Don't fly."
Yes.
On his last number, and said, "Now follow that, Chuck."
Exactly. Yes.
That's the story,
And now you also have a story about the first time performing with Jerry and the stool.
Yeah, we Waco, Texas. It'd be my first show with him, and I was going to try to keep myself cool and try to do a really good job with him the first show, to get myself hoping he'll like it, But anyway, I was watching real close. I stand right where I started stand the whole 55 years. I was right to the right of him. I was right by him.
Okay. Yes.
All the time, and I knew that was happening, but I wasn't thinking about it. You see, but at the end of the show, a whole lot of shaking was the closing show.
Yes.
The closing song. So when he did that, and when he really started rocking, he started to stand up, and he kicked that stool back, And I standing there, and I wasn't thinking, and that stool hit me right below the knees.
Exactly. I bet it hurt.
And I said, "Whoa, boy." that brought me to my knees. Just about.
Exactly. Yes.
And
sure.
I said that now that I know that, I've made one thing that I won't do. I will not stand there when I'm going to move back every time that a whole lot of shaking comes on. I'm going to move back.
Yes, you learned your lesson.
Yeah,
yes. So I understand that he was inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame shortly before his passing. What did that mean to him, or you must have been still with him at the time?
Yeah, he was. He didn't get to come to be there to his opening, because he was sick at the time.
Exactly.
He was in Memphis. And he didn't feel like coming. So anyway, Chris Gustafson, a bunch of them took an introduction for him, and but a bunch of people did a lot of talking and stuff, like Chris and some more people. But he really thought he'd be in a Country Music Hall of Fame. He said, because I grew up country, and I grew up was down there on Black River, Louisiana, where he grew up, and an old piano he played on, him and Jimmy Swaggart and Mickey Gilly played together. They were first cousins. Mm-hmm. They were all first cousins.
I see. Yeah,
him and Pastor Swaggart, they were really nice people.
Exactly.
And, we just did the gospel album with him and Jimmy. We just did you know that?
I heard something about that. Yes, for sure.
Yeah, that's about 2 months before he died.
Yes, exactly. I've also heard that it hasn't been officially released yet. Is that right?
Well, it's been out. It was out on CDs first.
Okay. I'll have to look for it.
And then Pastor Swaggart, Jimmy, he made an album cover. Did an album cover of it too.
Oh, nice. Yes. Okay.
So that's really good. I got both of them.
Oh, great. Yes, I see.
So and I went down. Of course, we played down to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and I played with Jimmy's
group,
the church band.
Oh yes.
We did and him. Of course, Jimmy's been in the ministry for years.
I see.
He's got a great place down there.
Yes, he does. Yes, I've always wanted to go there, but I haven't yet.
Yeah, if you watching, he's on the
Sunlight or Vision TV. Yes, for sure.
Yeah, he's on that all the time now.
Exactly.
That's his network, I guess.
Yes. So, do you keep in touch with the family?
Well, Jerry's family.
Yeah. Well, Jimmy or any of them.
Well, yeah. Well, we got to spend a lot of good time down there for about 3 days. When we went down to record it, we took it in, and we had a good time. And I had met Jimmy one time years before.
Okay.
Before I went with Jerry, I was with the other group.
The Go-Go's.
I had a trailer for sale that I pulled with our group, and I was going to get rid of it. And there's an ad in the paper, and it was wanted to know how much I wanted for it, and the number they can call me, and it was Jimmy Swaggart calling.
Oh wow! Yes.
And I sold him the trailer. And that was before I met Jerry.
Before Jerry, I see. Yes, I can.
Yeah, okay. I mean, and of course Jimmy at the time he was evangelist. He was traveling doing
the ministries and that sort of thing. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So he was pulling trailer. So that was kind of ironic, that we seen him and did that for Jimmy
before you ever met
Jerry,
Yes.
Really, not realizing back then that all of a sudden that's when I realized that they were
related. Exactly, for sure. Yes. So do you still play?
Not hardly any anymore. We did a thing here in my hometown about last year. This guy Jacob Tolliver, he opened the show for us before Jerry got sick,
okay.
For a little bit. Mm-hmm. He's a piano player, and then Jerry liked him, and he plays like Jerry style,
Oh, nice. Yes.
And so anyway, after Jerry passed, here last year, here at the big Performing Arts Center here in Franklin, Tennessee, where I'm at, where I live. And so anyway, Jacob Performing Arts Center had talked to Jacob about doing a tribute to Jerry, So we did, and I went and played with him and a couple more guys that he had playing with, a bass player and a drummer and a guitar player, and I played with him and to do a tribute to Jerry here in Franklin at Performing Arts Center last year, and that turned out really well. And I did the Grand Ole Opry with Marty Stewart.
Okay, yes, Marty, yes.
Marty, I did a CD with him, and he called me up and said he was going to celebrate his 30 years. That was a couple of years ago.
Okay.
30 30 years in the Grand Ole Opry, so he called me, and so he wanted to come out and play fiddle on one of the songs I'd recorded with him on the CD, and we did it that night at the opera, and that was great. I enjoyed that.
For sure, for sure. Yeah.
Artie's a nice guy, too. He's a really nice, super guy.
Yes, as is Connie, yes.
Connie Smith, yeah, they both is great
exactly.
folks.
So looking at your opinion on, if we may go into this, what is your opinion on, is country music still alive in today's world, or is it just, what's your opinion on that?
I think it's still alive. They got, the stations down in Texas, that XL, or what do you call it?
XM and Sirius, yes.
XM Sirius, they still got that going, and I hear the country, a lot, and some of the TV shows are still doing the old stuff.
Oh, for sure, yes.
I mean, some of the local TV shows they have, like RFD.
Yes.
They have
we get that up here, but it's through streaming, like on the smart TV, and I get to watch it once in a while. But what I like is the family reunions, the country family reunion that they play on that. Yes.
Yeah, that's great. I don't think it'll ever die. I mean, I hope it don't, Johnny, because it's here to stay. I mean, and who knows? Wouldn't it be nice if
to come back?
The real country would come back. Now, I would hope for that,
Yes, that's
Thank
great.
you, man. And maybe we can do some more later on down the road.
Yes, it'd be a pleasure to. Yes, I understand he would have been 90 in September, eh?
September each year would be he'd be 89.
89. Okay, yes. Well, maybe we can do something for his birthday, you and I. That'd be.
Let's see. I'm 88. He's 89 now. Let's see.
He'd be 90.
He'll be 90.
Yes.
Because he's in September.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it'd be 90. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That'd be good, and I'd be happy to do it.
Okay, and you stay safe, and God bless you. We'll talk to you soon.
Bless you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.